Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, What is the Obstacle? Well, in a nutshell, the search itself is the obstacle. It's very interesting because we're so used to the idea of searching, the seeker who wants to become conscious, who wants to be aware. But the seeking itself is the obstacle because it suggests that there's a me who is seeking a particular experience in the future, overlooking the fact that I am. Now, the reason why a search seems to appear is because we're so conditioned to believe that who we are is this entity separate from everything, and because that has not been questioned, that leads to a sense of lack. We feel constricted, separate, and even though we can search and we can pursue pleasures and whatever the world of appearances may seem to offer, it's always because I'm trying to fulfill a sense of scarcity, a sense of lack. I'm trying to fulfill something. That's why we're never fulfilled. We think that we experience fulfillment as a consequence of attaining something, but in reality, that is a temporary pleasure that feeds itself, and it grows bigger, bigger, and bigger until it comes to a place that we try to cover that up with more pleasure, which can turn into something either addictive or counterproductive. Once you have all the money the world can offer, and then you don't feel the sense of fulfillment because no matter how much I have, I always try to seek more. And for some people, they keep the seeking and they keep that going on, and that keeps them sort of entertained for a while. But there are some that even when they may have achieved all of that, they feel that sense of lack, and these are the ones who sometimes turn into addiction and in some extreme cases even suicide. But all of that is because they're overlooking the abundance that they are. They're overlooking the peace that they are. They're overlooking the happiness that they are. We just need to do a quick shift, that's all. But the mind resists that shift, and the way it resists it is that it turns it into a seeking, even the seeking for truth. You see, first was the seeking for the objects, that didn't do it. Now is the seeking for truth. That seems to be more comfortable, but that still doesn't do it because there's a sense of separation. But the sense of separation doesn't exist except in the mind. And what everyone is seeking in the end, whether it's through objects or whether it's through the spiritual search, is inner peace. You see? And the inner peace that we're so much seeking is what we already are. So the thing is that we're overlooking the obvious, and what we're doing with this information is pointing to the obvious. And the way we do so is very simple. Right now, let's begin with the fact that you are. In other words, you cannot negate the fact that you exist. Not as a person, but just a sense of aliveness. That is a fact. You know that you're alive. You feel that you're alive. You feel a sense of aliveness, right? That's fine. Okay. That sense of aliveness, which is life itself expressing through the instrument you, is the basis. Now, that basis is not in conflict. That basis is not experiencing lack in any way, shape, or form, does not experience suffering, does not experience fear, nor worry, nor anything, because that is the basis. This is basically, that's aliveness, that's life itself. The problem is that that is overlooked by our belief system, which is compiled of thought, isn't it? Beginning with the thought, this aliveness is a me, a person. No, aliveness simply is. Take the thought out of the way, and what remains is what is. But here's when it gets interesting. This aliveness is the background of everything, and when you recognize the fact that you are that aliveness, that life, whatever, then you notice how thoughts do appear, and when you don't identify with any of the thoughts, you experience the peace that you've been searching your whole life. Now, that peace is the background of every movement that is made through you. It doesn't matter what the movement is, you're resting in that peace. And then the mind say, okay, what do I do in this world? This is what we're always pointing to, that whatever you do in the world will be part of what life wants to express through you. The difference is the attitude from which you approach the doing is very different. That's all. If you're meant to be a musician, I say that because I play music, then you will still play music. If you're meant to be a chef, you'll be a chef. If you're meant to be a husband or a wife, you'll be a husband and a wife, or a wife. If you're meant to be a pilot, if you're meant to be whatever you're meant to do, and I'm using this, but I mean it could be a street sweeper, it could be a cashier at a restaurant. It doesn't matter, because we're not trying to put a hierarchy of anything. I'm saying that whatever life inspires you to do, you will do anyway. So it's not like you can just sit there thinking I am just beingness and you will not do anything. That's going to happen anyway. The difference is you can be a cashier with an attitude of you know, unfulfillment and lack and feeling bad, or you can be a cashier with a joyful attitude of just simply expressing the love that you are through that instrument called you. But the background of both is the peace that we're pointing to. So now you're not trying to pursue anything in order to achieve or to get or to experience that peace. You are the peace expressing through you no matter whatever you do. Now let's go a little bit further with this. What about if somebody gets sick? How can you be at peace when you're sick? Well, again, this is something that the mind cannot grasp, because the mind is identified with the body. But what you are is not the body. So what I mean is that whatever the experience is, it does not affect the peace that you are, and that's where these videos are pointing to. These videos are pointing to the recognition that right now you are, in spite of whatever may be happening or seem to be happening on the surface. You see? When that is recognized, now the surface is a movement of energy, is a play, but you're no longer distracted by the play. You see? That's why we're not trying to fix anything in the play. Fixing things in the play would happen if it's meant to happen anyway. If there's an issue, whether it's a health issue, I see how in the play, oh, the body's playing the part of a health issue. And also you'll notice how in the play, the body plays the part of someone who's seeking help for that, and you sometimes in the play see how the body gets well. But the body getting well or not well does not affect the background, which is where these videos are pointing to. So you may have in the play, sometimes you do have money and you say, oh look, there's money there, and then the money is gone and you say, hey, the money is gone. And if something needs to be done in order to make more money or to whatever, you see how the play unfolds in a way that you find yourself acting accordingly. But the background, you see, which remains, that is untouched by the movement that seems to be taking place in the surface. This is what is referred to as the peace that surpasses all understanding, and that is the obvious that is being overlooked. It's been overlooked by thought, that's all. Right now, no matter whatever may be happening in your seeming experience, and I'm very respectful for that, but I'm just simply pointing to something that might have been overlooked. Right now, whatever may be happening in your present experience, it doesn't matter what it may look like. Right now, if you don't identify with any thought that is trying to evaluate, to translate your present moment experience, what remains? And I'm asking you this because I want you to do the investigation. I don't want you to keep here as a theoretical thing. No, this is not what these videos are about. right now, if there's no identification with whatever the mind seems to be throwing at you, if you don't believe any of the thoughts, what remains? And again, don't answer, because if you answer, you went back to the mind. I am pointing to the obvious, to what remains. And what remains is that isness, that aliveness that I was pointing to, that I referred to earlier, that doesn't have any worries, any concerns, any fears, that simply is. And this is what you are. You are that isness. Do you see? While the world of appearances continue doing what it's doing. You know? You are that isness. In spite of the movement that takes place. I just finished another song. As a matter of fact, I'll put it at the end of the video so you can see. Well, that was a fun experience, but it means nothing. It was just another experience expressing through this instrument. And what if this song were to do well for whatever the reason is? Well, that would be another happening, but that does not affect the fact that I am. Do you see what I'm pointing to? Do you see the obvious of this? That doesn't mean that I stop living or doing things. Things are done, but there's a recognition that they're not done by me. They're just simply done. I'm just an instrument. And we're pointing here to the fact that you are the background in which the instrument seems to appear and disappear. When I say I am the instrument, I'm talking at the level of the illusory form. But I'm not even the instrument. I simply am, just so, like you are. I am. And the amness that I'm pointing to is the aliveness that is ever present, that is never obscured by any thoughts that may seem to appear. But when the identification goes with the thought, then it's obscuring the fact that you simply are. And right now you are. Are you not being right now? Just notice how the mind is trying to go to, yeah, that sounds great, I know that, but look at the problem that I have. Look at the issue that I have. No, the only thing that is happening or seems to be happening right now that is quote unquote real to you is you watching a video. That's about it, isn't it? Is not that it? So then what's wrong with this particular moment? What's the issue here? That the mind is projecting a possible future, but you don't know about any of that. All you know is that you're allowing the mind relating a story, overshadowing the fact that you are. And these videos, this information is pointing to the fact that you are. Right now, I am. Are you not? Are you not being right now? And again, this is not esoteric, this is very practical. This is pointing right to what is true to you, to what is real to you right now. Real within the context of the illusion, but the only thing that is real to you is the ever-present beingness, that's all. So right now, are you not being? Even if you think you have whatever issues the mind is trying to sell you, this will be solved according to the way life will express through you. But if you are remembering always that you are live, then you're observing life expressing through you, and whatever you may be dealing with, you may be surprised how life uses you to deal with that. And if you're not supposed to deal with that, then you won't deal with that. As simple as that. And if you don't deal with that, it's because life doesn't want you to deal with that. Life will deal with it itself. You see? Sometimes it appears as if though I take some sort of action, and sometimes it appears as if I don't have to take any action. But the issue will resolve itself because it's not resolved by a me, it's simply part of the play that is unfolding on its own. Are you the one breathing? Are you the one choosing the heart to beat? Are you the one really controlling the universe? No. Are you controlling your thoughts? No. Thoughts appear and disappear. The invitation here is not about controlling the mind. The invitation here is about not believing it. And yes, it's paradoxical, I'm aware of that. Because if you're not supposed to not believe it, there's nothing you can do about it. Because life is experiencing itself through you. And in this paradoxical universal play, Life is presenting you with information that suggests that if you don't believe the content of the mind, you will experience the peace that passes all understanding. Okay, great. If it's played like that, imagine that you can actually choose not to believe the content of the mind. Am I choosing to pick up this book right now? No, this is what happens, but by that choosing to take place, first a thought had to appear that says, I'm going to pick up this book and I'm going to show it to the camera. But the mind immediately takes ownership, takes protagonism of that. No, 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 no. I chose to pick up the book and show it to the camera. Well, the fact is that while I am talking here, I am not at the same time stopping in complete emptiness, choosing the thought that says, I'm going to choose the thought that says, I'm going to pick up the book and show it to the camera. At any point, I never found myself doing that. I am speaking with you, the idea of picking the book and showing it to the camera shows up, and I find myself doing that. At no point I chose that. But you see, it's like in a fraction of a second. Well, at no point you're choosing whatever thought is going to come in your awareness. Therefore, if you're not choosing the thoughts and the thought is the responsible for you to take whatever the action is, how can you take credibility or credit for the action? You see? You're simply being, and we're pointing to that, and the mind is going to resist that because you're so used to believing the opposite. That's fine, no big deal. Somehow life has led you to this information, so to remember that you can relax. See? You can relax. Life is happening through you. And you simply are. And the only obstacle to the recognition that you are is the search itself of trying to become. We're not trying to become anything. We already are. We're learning now not to judge the experience as it unfolds, and you rest in the peace that passes all understanding. And then see how life unfolds through you, because that's the way it's going to be happening. It's unfolding without your permission. But when you let the mind trying to direct the play, which it cannot, but it appears that it can by again trying to take credit of the actions that are taking place, when this recognition takes place, you rest in the beingness that we're talking about, and then see how life unfolds and expresses through you. Through me, it expresses as someone that right now is making a video. Sometimes it expresses as someone who create music, or write books, or fix itself a meal, or take a walk, or get sick, and then get better. See, it doesn't matter. Sometimes he feels like he gets upset. The upsetting feelings can be seen through, and then he's no longer upset. See, it's all a passing show, but I remain as I am. And that's it. End of story. And having said that, since I promised that I was going to show you what is the last song that I wrote, that I composed and everything in the studio, here it is, so you can enjoy it.
Up every morning, jump right out of bed, looking at the mirror. I'm so glad I am not dead. What brought me to this world with me, it knows what it will do. I trust whatever happens, even when I'm feeling blue. One door closes, another opens up. Could it be coincidence, or is it maybe love? All seem hazy, though I am feeling fine, as I hear these words keep lurking in my mind. Listen to the life that leaves you by trusting yourself. Don't believe the lies you hear from everybody else who didn't have the courage to jump as high as you, trying to hold you down so you can make it through. They're not like you. Life is like a puzzle that nobody can solve, yet I'm looking at the pieces, how in place they seem to fall. To see how it'll happen, had to learn to walk alone. Sometimes it was scary till I saw the break of dawn. One door closes, another opens up. Could it be coincidence, or is it maybe love? All seem hazy, though I am feeling fine, as I hear these words keep lurking in my mind. Listen to the life that leaves you by trusting yourself. Don't believe the lies you hear from everybody else who didn't have the courage to jump as high as you, trying to hold you down so you can make it through. They're not like you. There were times I felt that I was walking blind, chasing fantasies that I could never find. Some say I'm a fool, but matters not to me. By not holding on, I'm finally set free. Listen to the life that leaves you by trusting yourself. Don't believe the lies you hear from everybody else who didn't have the courage to jump as high as you, trying to hold you down so you can make it through. They're not like you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the song. Might be a little edgy for you, I don't know, but that's fine. It's just the way it expresses through. I'm just simply an instrument that allows the music to come through. And now with the sun right on my face, I close this video reminding you that may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.